Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the latest of our partner playback sessions. On a crisp winter's morning here in Rochdale, the sun is out, blue skies. It's all very pleasant. As you well know, these partner playback sessions are a vehicle for updates on all things within our partner division. And obviously gives you the opportunity to ask any questions you have. There's a means to do that in the Zoom environment, so feel free at any point to drop any questions in there and we'll do our best to get to them later on. The plan this morning then, so we're going to cover a couple of things. Firstly, I'm as you may be able to see, I'm joined by Richard Tang, our founder and CEO, a familiar face to you, no doubt.
Good morning, live from Rochdale. Thank you very much for joining.
And Paul North, a new addition to the Zen family, Managing Director of Partner. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Nick. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for everyone for joining, either watching live or watching back later. Pleasure to see you all.
So we're going to cover, as I say, a couple of things. I'm going to ask Richard and Paul to talk about the plans ahead for Partner. What's going on? What's the vision? What's the 12 months going to look like? And what value do we hope that's going to bring to you, our partners? Then we're going to flip over to our roving reporters. We've got Shannon Moorcroft, who's our marketing lead in Partner. We're going to talk about Campaign Centre, a little bit about what's coming down the track with that. That's our marketing tool, hopefully familiar to a lot of you already. And then lastly, Mark Howarth, our head of trading and partner experience lead. We'll be talking about our NPS survey recently, some of the things we've learned from that, and some of the things we're looking to put in place. So lots to cover. We're going to crack on. Hopefully have some room at the end for some questions, as I say, so drop them in as you go. Right then, let's start with you gentlemen. Maybe Paul, we'll start with you. You're 6 weeks in now? How's it going so far?
I am indeed, Nick. Yes, 6 weeks in. It has been a brilliant start to my journey within Zen. This year I am celebrating 19 years working in channel. Spent my entire career within the wholesale space, and I've always looked upon Zen fondly from the outside. Always had a perception of a strong service quality, of a fantastic network, and a knack for innovation. And I think that in my first 6 weeks in the business, I've spent time with a number of folk, from my colleagues across the Exco, in our senior management team, people within our provisioning, tech support, network engineering team. And the thing that I've seen the most is that all of those perceptions were correct, and then some. I think there is an awful lot of experience, knowledge, and passion within this business, particularly as well within the partner space and how we do support and work with our partners. So for me, I think it really aligns with my personal values, my partner values, and just feels like an absolute pleasure to be here, to be honest.
Fantastic. And Richard, your perspective on that, I suppose, dedicated managing director in the partner division?
Yeah. It's fantastic to have Paul on board. Steve Warburton was running partner and consumer up to the point that Paul joined, and look, he was doing a great job. But partner's so important, we thought we really need a dedicated managing director to drive partner forward. Particularly, such an exciting time now. The core of our partner strategy is to become the UK's altnet aggregator of choice in the channel. When I started to talk about that ambition maybe 18 months ago, it was mostly an ambition rather than reality. But as we sit here today, that ambition is absolutely turning into reality. We've got City Fibre live alongside Openreach. That was the first step. And we had our grand launch earlier in the year in the Gherkin in London. We've added Truly, we've got Freedom Fibre, we've got ITS on board, we've got MS3, so we're busy integrating and getting MS3 live. I think we've got some test circuits already with MS3. We have another exciting announcement, hopefully very shortly, hopefully this side of Christmas. We've agreed heads of terms and we're working on the details of the contract, and as soon as we sign that contract, then we will get that announcement out. And already we've started to do some of the integration work on that altnet, and we're talking to a lot of other altlets. So there's such a fantastic opportunity now in the channel. and to aggregate all these patchwork quilts of different fibre networks and then provide them all through a unified interface, which is the Fibre Hub, to our channel partners. So very exciting times. It felt for me, I mean, this is 30 years for me now at Zen, and it feels like that period in about the mid-2000s, about 20 years ago, when lots was changing. There was a lot of uptake of broadband, ADSL broadband back then, and it felt like there was enough market share for everyone. And it feels a bit like that with full fibre now. There's so much market share to go at as these full fibre areas get enabled. I think because a lot of the focus has been on consumer rather than B2B, and B2B is now catching up, there's this great second wave of B2B opportunity. And I know most of our channel partners are focused more on B2B than B2C. Of course, we do B2C as well. But for those B2B opportunities, a lot of businesses are getting full fibre for the first time. So it's a fantastic opportunity for our channel partners to get out there and make a sale of something that is faster and very importantly, more reliable. And according to Clive Selley, CEO of OpenReach, full fibre is about 3 times more reliable, 3 times less faults than we see on the copper network. So 2 great reasons to get your business customers and new potential customers signed up.
Absolutely. You touched on a couple of the things there that we would call the underpinnings of the strategy the next 12 months. Paul, Fibre Hub, we had the launch or the relaunch of our partner portal at the Gherkin in the summer. Since then, obviously, lots of enhancements Richard's talked there. But what's the kind of next 12 months look like in terms of enhancements around our Fibre Hub, our partner portal?
Absolutely. So just before I jump into that, I think some really strong messaging from Richard there in terms of the opportunity in the market. I just want to share a few insightful stats. So 2026 is a really pivotal year for FTTP. So the recent analysis shows that it will be the first year where it exceeds SOGEA and FTTC in terms of volume of circuits that will be live across the UK. And specifically within the indirect market, there will be a big shift next year. So it's anticipated around 450,000 new FTTPs will be ordered in the indirect market. We collectively, as a channel, serve about 31% of the total broadband market today. And of those, 150,000 will be B2B customers. So the market opportunity is really enormous going into 2026 and beyond. I think it's expected to be worth around about 900 million. And we will come back to Ethernet as well, because I think Ethernet still has a really important part to play in it. But following on from that, a big part of our strategy for 2026 will be, we've launched the Fibre Hub. So we have that aggregated access to the AltNet footprint that we have today. And we'll be adding more to that next year. We're going to continue to enhance and optimize the Fibre Hub to make that journey seamless, regardless of the AltNet carriers that we are using. But importantly, a big thing that we want to do next year is help you make the most of the AltNet opportunity. And so a piece of work that we're going through at the moment is really assessing the footprint of those AltNets that we have access to. So we're getting really rich insight on the types of businesses that are passed by those networks. We're looking at the sectors, we're looking at the size of the businesses, and we're looking at, are they part of a multi-site? So what we can start to do is really work with our partners. Shannon will talk a little bit about the campaign centre. We want to work on a one-to-one basis to really understand your ideal customer profile, the sectors that you're winning in today, the businesses that you like to work with, so we can start to shape some of that data. If we look at something like Truly as a good example, there are 22,000 businesses passed on that network today, and there's been very, very little penetration. We were the first wholesale provider to go live on that network, and it took us 6 months to integrate into the Fibre Hub, testament to our fantastic teams internally. So if we look at that network footprint, that is available across broad part of the UK. So we want to have a look at that and break that down. How many businesses are within the 10 to 50 seats? What particular sectors are passed in there? Looking at some of the sector specialists we work with in places like retail or education or healthcare. So a big part of what we're working on with the marketing team and as part of our partner kind of program overhaul will be really supporting that. So we'll be looking to provide enriched, insightful data that will be marketable data as well that you can utilize as part of your proposition that will then underpin all of those great services that you sell on top as well. And this is something that really I'm very excited about. We've done fantastic things with Campaign Centre this year in terms of the assets that are available to you as partners. But now it's how do we take it to that next level, and how do we arm you so that you can go out there and win big in this space in what is this exciting year.
Yeah, well, we should really emphasise the low competition in some of these B2B spaces, because taking the 22,000 business premises passed by the Truly network, just as an example, a lot of those businesses, there is no full fibre from Openreach. So the level of competition is much, much lower. And so you can reasonably expect that if you proactively approach those businesses, you're going to win a bigger market share.
Completely agree. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to Richard's point, there is a lot of underutilized business footprint at the moment. And, we really see that as our job to fill that next year and to get our partners firing across all of that. We work with a great amount of partners across the UK today that work in particular sectors. So looking forward to going at that together.
We've certainly seen that in the consumer space. So looking at the Truly footprint, and in about half of the Truly footprint, so the overall Truly footprint is about 430,000 premises. About half of that is not overbuilt by Openreach, and we have effectively in the consumer space a duopoly with Truly Retail. So if you're one of those consumers, you can't get Openreach, you want full fibre, let's say you can't get Virgin Media either, then if you want full fibre, you've got a choice of two suppliers. You've got Zen and Truly Retail, Truly's own retail arm. And we've seen up to a threefold increase in winning market share in that consumer footprint compared to what we would see in a footprint that's been overbuilt with Openreach. Now, we've not got that equivalent stat yet for businesses because it's too new, but you can sort of make that leap and think, well, actually, lower competition, I'm going to get more market share.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and following on from that as well, some of the things that we've developed internally and that we'll be starting to surface to some of our partners next year are the availability maps of some of these footprints. So today we look at the likes of Truly. We've mapped that. We can see how many premises are passed through in each of those locations, and we can start to overlay that against the kind of sales strategy as well. So that's really exciting. I think it's important to note as well, there is a massive opportunity in Ethernet over FTTP and in Ethernet on the AltNet footprint. So part of what we'll be looking at for the next 12 months will be bringing products across those existing AltNets to market and the future ones that we on board. Again, another interesting industry stat for you. It's forecast that next year there will be over 12,000 businesses that will move to a Ethernet over FTTP style product from a 100 meg or 1 gig Ethernet bearer. So I think, for us, we see that as a really exciting opportunity. In next week, a week today, we will be launching City Fibre's Ethernet footprint to complement the FTTP footprint that we sell today. That will be available to just over 250,000 business premises. And as part of that proposition, we will be launching an EOFTTP style product as well. So again, really looking at what's that sweet spot between customers that have previously been serviced by either copper or an expensive Ethernet, and how can we now open up a new market opportunity for our channel partners?
We should probably talk about EOFTTP because it with full fibre broadband and with leased lines, you know what you're getting, don't you? With EOFTTP, I've always described it as somewhere in between the broadband and lease lines, in that it doesn't have the 100% guaranteed bandwidth that a lease line would have. So typically you would guarantee, and this is where it varies actually from provider to provider. With ITS, I think it's 20% of the bandwidth is guaranteed. With Freedom Fibre, they guarantee 33%. There's one AltNet we were aware of that actually guarantees 100%. So it does vary on what you're getting, but then the price point, and let's take ITS as the example, the price point is roughly about a third of a lease line cost, but you've got that SLA wrap around it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's similar with City Fibre as well. They guarantee 20% on the 1 gig circuit. So yeah, you get that guaranteed throughput of 200 megabits per second, and the SLA is equivalent to a lease line as well. So that will be coming to market at a really exciting price point as well.
I mean, what we're seeing as well, again, from some altnets, so altnets have taken different approaches here. Some altnets have taken the view, you know what, we're not going to provide an EOFTTP product, but what we will provide is an FTTP product, but we'll let you go to care level 3 and 4. So if you want a 5-hour fixed time on an FTTP broadband, there's an upgrade path for that. But again, it does vary altnet to altnet. So there is a bit more homework to do depending on what footprint you're on, what product you can get. But overall, the opportunity is great because it's full fibre for the first time. It's typically, roughly 20% cheaper than OpenReach. And I think particularly if you compare, say, ITS with OpenReach have a fibre on demand service, but it costs a fortune. Yeah. Whereas ITS have what's effectively a fibre on demand service because they do build that last, let's say, 100 metres of circuit, but they fund that. So actually, from your point of view as a channel partner, you just see a circuit going in. Yes, sometimes there are ECCs, but in 80% of cases, they will fund that.
Yeah. Were you going to build on that?
I was going to add to it. Yeah, I think it's probably important to note that part that there's a lot of complexity working with the different altnets, and I think one of the things that we've really done with the Fibre Hub is remove a lot of that. So I think, taking someone like City Fibre, there are a variety of different flags within their footprint in terms of the availability of your premises. So to build on Richard's point around some sites being more complex, so typically education being a little bit more complex for City Fibre to deliver. So we've worked really hard with them over the last 2 years to consolidate a lot of that complexity to ultimately be able to deliver to you as our partners a new provide or a migration order and surface if that site may have some of those complexities to be aware of, but really trying to remove it to make that journey as easy as possible for you and to get out there and to be able to sell it. And we've done that across all of the altnets as well. And I think that's a really important piece when looking at the difficulty in integrating altnets, not only in terms of the technical integration, the API stack, everyone having slightly different product sets, but each of them build in slightly different ways as well, and each of them surface that build in different ways in terms of what they class as ready for service. So, the experts here within Zen over the last 2 years have been poring over that data to ensure that as part of that Fibre Hub journey, it feels the same regardless of that carrier. And importantly, in terms of that data that we share with you, for you to be able to go out and attack this opportunity, that it's really easy for you to just see, okay, I know that I'm going to be able to get this site delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. And that theme is so important, simplicity. Now, that's the message we've been getting back from you guys for the last 20 years. Make it simple for us. And so that's absolutely what we're doing. You do your availability check. We say you can get these products at these prices, and you just place an order and it works. That's what you want, and that's what we're committed to delivering.
Absolutely that, yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, on that note, and maybe we'll come back to that particular topic at the end. Thanks for the feedback on the feedback from my mic. I'm taking, unfortunately, our sound technician didn't tell me to mic my laptop, so that's now fixed. Hopefully, some of you guys, that seems to be okay. But in terms of realising that opportunity, then let's talk a little bit about our campaign centre. As I mentioned, a marketing tool that we're looking to evolve to help you guys really, maximise the opportunity that we've outlined there. I'm going to hand over to Shannon in a moment, but I just wanted to kind of position our campaign centre with you so you can get access to it via our Fibre Hub. It's primarily a home for marketing material. You get access to email content, social media posts, blogs, general copy, much of which you can actually download and use. There's lots of Zen branded, but also white label collateral that you can put your own business brand on and take that to market yourselves. And there's a little bit of sales enablement in there, so battle cards, FAQs, handbooks, data sheets, things like that to enable your sales team to talk coherently and with confidence about the plethora of services and options that are in the market. So that's where we are today with Campaign Centre. But what I'm going to do now is hand over to Shannon. who's going to talk about some of the things we're planning to do in the next 6 to 12 months, some of the things that will light up. And I think just some context for the Campaign Centre. We've got lots of partners, and there's several hundred of you that have access, partners as opposed to individuals. So we've got hundreds of individuals who have access to the Campaign Centre. But in the last 6 months, only 10% of those have actually used it. So it's a really underutilised tool as we see it. And we're hoping that this morning, through the enhancements that Shannon's going to talk about, it will whet your appetite to give that a go and make it your go-to for your marketing strategies and taking this opportunity to your partner, to your customers and partners' own channels. So Shannon, over to you. What's coming down the track?
Thanks, Nick. So yes, I'm here today to talk to you about the upcoming updates to Campaign Centre. So for those of you who are using it currently, you'll know that it isn't a bad platform at the moment, and there's some really good content on there for you to download and use. However, it's a little bit dated, it's a little bit clunky, it's not the easiest to use. And so we wanted to rectify that and actually give our partners a more useful platform, something that looks a lot better, and something that has a lot more content on resources on there for you to use. So with that, we wanted to create a one-stop shop for everything, all the resources that you need to become a successful Zen partner or to continue being a successful Zen partner. So that is including marketing, sales enablement, all that stuff that Nick's already mentioned that's on there, but just building on that, linking out to the order processes and portals that we've got, learning and development pieces, latest news, and more. So bringing all of that into one easy to use portal. So with the updates as well, we've improved the interface. So it now looks a lot more modern, a lot sleek. It's easier to navigate. Just, yeah, overall, a lot better as a platform. We've also introduced an upcoming events section as well. So that offers a really nice overview of any of the upcoming events that we've got in Zen Partner for you, so you can keep up to date with the likes of any upcoming partner playbacks, any other webinars, any networking events that we've got, and any wider in-person partner events that may or may not be coming back this year. We've also got a latest news section come in as well, so you'll be able to keep on top of all the latest news from Zen as a wider sort of business piece, anything that's going on in Zen Partner, so any of the upcoming altnet launches, any other product launches into Zen Partner. So yeah, giving you a really nice news feed to have a sit down and read through and, keep up to date with what we've got going on. There'll also be some exclusive blog content available to you as well. So we do have the general blog on the Zen website, but this will be exclusive content just for our Zen partners that are using Campaign Centre. There's also an update to the FTTP search tool. So for those of you who aren't using Campaign Centre at the moment, the FTTP search tool is where we provide RFS data for certain networks that you can actually access and download and sort of use as you need to in your business. So at the moment, we've got OpenReach and City Fibre on there. We are in the process of adding Truly and Freedom Fibre as well. So you've got, the whole altnet piece on there for you to go and use. Going hand in hand with that, we are hosting the coverage map on Campaign Centre as well. So this is something that was created internally a couple of months ago. You might have already seen it floating around, your account manager might have already sent it to you, but it is something that we're hosting on Campaign Centre as well. So on that, we've got City Fibre, ITS, Truly, and Freedom Fibre. So the coverage map does exactly what it says. It is a nice overview of the country and where all the footprints sit. So it's great to see what that opportunity is looking like. You can also toggle by the altnet as well if you want. So for example, if you want to just see what Truly looks like, you can toggle that and just see that one. So yeah, great for seeing what that opportunity looks like, great for localised campaigns, and it does go really nice hand in hand with the RFS data that we're providing through the FTTP search tool. So as I said, wanted to create a one-stop shop for everything that you need as a Zen partner. So we know that there's quite a few different portals that you'd be using day in, day out. So wanted to make sure that there was an easy way to access all of them. So there are quick links now on Campaign Centre out to the Fibre Hub, the Lease Line Quote tool, and the Learning Hub as well, and any sort of other portals you might be using as a partner. So yeah, just having everything under one roof, really easy to use. So yeah, looking forward to these updates coming within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, if you're interested in being one of the first partners to know about the new Campaign Centre and you might not have a login, please do reach out to your account manager team and, they can let us know that you need a login, or alternatively, we will be sending out an email in the next couple of days with a sign-up form for you to fill in. So yeah, please do just pop your details in there and we can get a login across to you as soon as possible. But please do bear in mind it's a manual process at the moment, so might just take us a little bit longer. But yeah, do sign up. Some really exciting updates come in, and yeah, it's just going to help you towards, on your altnet journey. But yes, and when it does launch and when you've had a look through, please do share any feedback. We'd like to hear what you like about it, what you feel is missing. Please do reach out to your account manager team and just let them know, how you're getting on with it all. And if you find that there's something missing on there that you think might be more of like a bespoke marketing request and we can work one-to-one on that, again, please do reach out to the team and we can see what we can do to support you on all of that. But yeah, I do hope you enjoy the new campaign centre, and keep an eye out on your email inboxes over the next couple of weeks, because yeah, there'll be some updates coming across to you. But yeah, that is everything in terms of Campaign Centre for now, but it is a continuous thing that we want to develop. So yeah, there'll be a lot more developments and things in the coming months. But yeah, that is everything for now. Thanks, Nick. Back to you.
Thank you, Shannon. Thanks for that update. And yeah, exciting times ahead. The Campaign Centre, as you've heard, is not just a centre for campaigns. So lots to come. Right, we'll head over to Mark now. Mark Howarth, he's our Head of Trading and Partner Experience. Good morning, Mark. Are you going to talk to us a little bit about the MPS survey that we ran recently, and what we've taken from that and what's ahead? Over to you.
Thanks, Nick, and good morning, everyone. So firstly, a big thank you to all our partners who filled out our Net Promoter Score survey in September. I think it was a timely exercise. I know Dean Burden, our Service Management Director, was on the last webinar we had, and he explained that we were experiencing some challenges of order management, and that definitely came through strongly in some of the comments that we received in September. We ended up with a score of plus 60, which against industry, I think is extremely a good score, with mid to low teens, mainly in the UK telecoms industry. However, with transparency and honesty, that has come down from the score in around April, May, where we were at 69. What's the driving factor behind that? I think we have experienced some challenges in order management. I think we've spoken to our partners about this and been open around those challenges around our SLA management. I'm pleased to say that is on the road to recovery now. Speaking to Dan and the team this morning, the numbers are looking a lot more healthy. And I think it's context as well in terms of the feedback we're receiving. It's extremely valuable to take stock from what our partners are saying, but also look at the reasons why we receive some of that feedback. And we learn a lot, not just from comments in terms of where improvements can be made here at Zen, but how we can challenge the supply chain. So in particular, when it comes to FTTP orders, we're seeing a high number of complex business orders. And now we're challenging industry to say, well, how can you help us fulfill that service a lot quicker through slicker processes, SLA management, and escalations where required. It wasn't all in terms of challenges. There was some great feedback that we had about partner experience managers and account managers. So that whole people ethic that comes through Zen rings true with you as partners, and we'll continue to build around that. This is a partnership, it is a relationship, and there will be bumps in the road. In terms of those bumps, we will continue to update you on the status of it. But if you're not getting the information that you require, please do reach out to your partner experience manager. I've spoken to a number of partners over the last 8 to 10 weeks in terms of the challenges that you're facing. I'm more than happy to give you my mobile number, my email address, and talk to you about the challenges and how we can better provide an experience for you as our partners. The next survey we put out will be around Q2 for us. So that'll be around sort of April, May, June time. We will continue to review CSAT, and we will have those check-ins with account managers and partner experience managers to really understand, are we changing the curve and the needle in terms of the experience you're being provided. I've got some other exciting news as well. So obviously we are now putting more altnets into our fibre hub, and we've been working with our SysDev team who are working tirelessly around the implementation of releasing that altnet functionality for you as partners, but also ensuring that our testing is really strong. So there's now a test that's run every 15 minutes on our portal, looking for any little bugs or things that need fixes, and they're then isolated and then provided directly into the SysDev team. So we're providing a really reliable and stable platform for you to do business on. But again, just to finish off, a huge thank you to the partners that filled the survey out. If you didn't fill the survey out and you want to provide feedback, as I said, you can get in contact with your partner experience manager or account manager, or even me directly. I love to hear from and speak to customers on a regular basis to understand where we're currently at in terms of the relationship and what more we can do for you as a Zen partner. But yeah, Nick, back to you in the studio. Always wanted to say that.
Well done, Mark. Thank you for that. That kind of wraps up the content, but we've got a couple of questions through here. I've got one from Richard at Zarnanet. Thank you, Richard. You asked about Layer 2 Ethernet. You've expressed your how pleased you are with the partnership, which is great to hear. But in order to do more business with us, a Layer 2 Ethernet prop would be your ask. Gentlemen, what do you think? Can we satisfy
I'd love to have a layer. I would love to have a Layer 2. Thank you, Richard. I'd love to have Layer 2 Ethernet. Paul, can we have it?
We can, yes. So I think whilst we've spoken quite heavily around FTTP and EOFTTP on this session today, I think that Ethernet digitization next year and continuing to build on our Ethernet capability, which includes Layer 2, is incredibly important to us. I join alongside some of the senior management team a fortnightly session that we have around altnet integration and capability, but also around what we refer to as lease lines. And as part of that, we are actually just going through the refinement of the roadmap for next year. What are some of the features we want to bring into the Fibre Hub? How do we continue to build on the lease line quoting tool that we have available? And importantly, Layer 2 and APIs. So it's absolutely on the roadmap. I will take personal ownership of this one to take it away and to come back with a committed date in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it is feedback we've had from multiple partners as well for Layer 2. And it's one of those things that, yes, we'd love to do it. We need to get it prioritised. The technology team have got lots on their plate, but hopefully we can get that out. So, I mean, when you say, Paul, it's on the roadmap, does that mean we're definitely doing it?
It's absolutely on there as something that we're definitely doing. I think it's now a prioritisation piece, so it will.
Okay, we're definitely doing it. There's the message.
Yeah,
that's great news.
Very good. There you go, Richard. Doesn't get better than that. If there's any other questions from the floor, please drop them in. I've got a question here just building on some of the things you said earlier, gentlemen, about why would one of our partners who maybe has an existing relationship with one of our altnet suppliers come directly through Zen, or rather through Zen rather than directly to an altnet, whether they have those relationships already or are considering that in future. What's pros and cons?
Certainly two that spring immediately to mind. So in some cases it's cheaper to come directly to Zen, to come via Zen than directly to the altnet. And one of the best examples here is CityFibre. So CityFibre have two handover models, local handover and national handover. If you're a channel partner, then if you do a deal directly with CityFibre, then you'll likely use national handover. We have presence in all the CityFibre exchanges, so we use local handover, and there's quite a price difference there. So actually, we can still make a margin and pass on a proportion of our local handover cost to the channel partner. So that's the first reason, it's just a commercial reason, and the second reason is you've got one relationship with Zen, and you get access to multiple altnets. So it's back to the simplicity point. As we know very well, and Paul touched on, onboarding an altnet, maintaining that commercial relationship, maintaining that service relationship, it's a lot of effort. And we're doing that multiple times on the behalf of our channel partners, and we can give a level of service, I think particularly to the smaller channel partners, that some of the altnets can't give. So there's a service and simplicity reason as well.
Okay, any bills on that, Paul?
Yeah, I think I'd just build on that technical integration piece as well. So I think there is some altnets are offering purely Layer 2 at the moment. Some are offering Layer 3. In terms of across the 600 staff that we have in our business today, there are huge teams that work on both the network level integration, the API integration, And each of those altnets are on their own journey as well in terms of what's available to utilise today. So I feel that the expertise that we've built within this business over the last 3 years, as we've been on this journey, means that we can ultimately just help you springboard that and acquire it from Zen directly. And I think, on Richard's point, commercially, we're in a strong position. But I think we also really understand the altnet opportunity. We understand their footprint. If you look at, we've been selling across City Fibre for the best part of 6 years now. So we're able to bring a lot of that expertise as part of our programme. It's not just about being able to offer it at a really good price, but it's how do we actually build all that wrap around it for you as well.
And on that, Paul, Carl's asked a question about advance notice of exchange enablement for full fibre. So we can provide insight there, can't we? That's part of the prop.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yes, that's it. And on Richard's point, so we have the local enablement on City Fibre's footprint, but we're able to provide forthcoming building information as well. Again, each of the altnets manage this differently, but we can give you insight as to what will be coming live in the next 6 weeks, so you can start to build a bit of a go-to-market strategy around that. There's never a better time to sell full fibre than when there's been disruption at street level, either for a business or a consumer, and then be able to kind of tie into that. So that's something that we're always keen to support on.
Thank you. And the last question I've got here is back to Ethernet. So to the point on enhancements, layer 2 being one of them, APIs. Yeah.
So I think I'm picking this piece up. I think Ethernet is still really key to our strategy. And I think if you look at some of the stats that are in the market, there's still an incline happening, particularly in the 10 gig product. I think that I think it would be fair to say and to be transparent that a lot of our development focus and technical focus in the last 12 months has gone into the Fibre Hub for the altnets and for the FTTP footprint, and rightly so. It's a massive opportunity ahead. But for me, Ethernet is personally important to our strategy. It's a large portion of what we do today. I think it's now how do we really enhance that service to our partners, both through API, through layer 2, make it really easy to do business with us, like it is across the Fibre Hub for FTTP today. But importantly as well, I think we really need to start thinking about in terms of how we surface more on, the inventory, around monitoring services as well. So we can start to enhance that side, because it's great to availability check, quote, and sell the service, but it's how we manage it and how we support it going forward as well. So this will be a big piece of work for us next year. As I say, that roadmap at the moment, we're looking at that and looking at how do we prioritise it. As with anything, I think we'd really welcome partner feedback as well around some killer features that you'd like to see within the Fibre Hub, particularly for Ethernet. So please do. My door's always open. I'm on LinkedIn or on email as well. And the partner experience team and the partner account management team as well. We'd love to get that feedback.
Yeah, Ethernet, such an important opportunity for Zen, absolutely a strategic priority for us. And we are going to be investing much more actually this year than we have previously in Ethernet. So we've got layer 2 coming. APIs being an ask from a number of partners for a number of years. So really keen that we get API access into our Ethernet portfolio. I don't know whether that is on the roadmap or whether we've got a date yet, or is that?
No date yet. I think it's still TBC.
Yeah. But are we definitely doing it? That's the question.
Put me on the spot. I think in terms, if we look at what we've got today, Richard, we've got 700 OpenReach exchanges where we can pick up those Ethernet access, direct local access circuits. We've got the fantastic footprint from City Fibre. Some of these other altnets that we're talking to are launching Ethernet propositions next year. So for me, we've got to do it. But it's not a case of if, I think it's a case of when.
Excellent.
And I would like to leave on the final probably piece of...
One more question, actually.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, so just keep that powder dry. One more question here. It's from Anonymous. Back, I suppose, for you, Richard, I guess, although I'm sure you can build on this, but how are we going to manage the inevitable bought or bust future for a lot of the altnet market if they are integrated within your product stack?
Look, the altnet world is pretty precarious financially. You just need to read the press to see that. And there's lots of talk about who's going to buy who. I think that going into the altnet world, we had lots of discussions at our exco and at our board about the increased risk. And there's no doubt that doing business with the altnets, there is a bigger risk compared with doing business with OpenReach. I mean, OpenReach are going to be around in 10, 20 years time. What's going to happen to all the altnets? Now, the altnets have sunk a huge amount of capital into building network, and they've been very careful on the whole not to overbuild each other. So they're setting up this patchwork quilt of altnets around the UK. It's a little bit like the cable companies back in the 90s. consolidation will happen. I think it will take the next 5 years for it to fully consolidate. And so the question then comes of, well, what happens if, for example, Truly and Freedom Fibre join together? And I mean, I'm just picking that as a random example. So at the moment, we're integrated with both. If they did join together, that's good news for us. It's good news for our channel partners because, firstly, it means that they're creating a stronger single business with a bigger footprint. It does mean that there's a point, and it probably would take 9 to 12 months after the actual deal to join the networks and systems together. So we would still be using 2 APIs to have 2 service relationships. And then maybe a year down the line, we would just switch to using one of those services. From our channel partners' point of view, they wouldn't see any difference. I guess the other sort of the question is there an altnet that's so in such financial difficulty that actually it is struggling financially? On the whole, as I say, it's precarious. That is a possibility, I think, with all the altnets. However, the value in an altnet is its fibre footprint and its customer base. So whatever happens, if it goes into administration and then's rescued, the thing that is of value that the investors want to keep hold of is that fibre network and the customer base, and that's what we're providing. So, yes, I think there is a risk, but I feel like we are the value. We are the value of that fibre network, and it's like anything in business. You know, there is an increased risk, but the reward is massive. The alternative would be to ignore the altnets altogether and just do business with Openreach. But just, you know, the level of opportunity we would miss by doing that is just huge.
Very good. So a level of comfort there, Richard. I hope that answered the question. So we're coming to a close now. I know there's just a couple of things, Paul, you wanted to mention in closing there.
Yes, there was indeed. Thank you. I guess thank you everyone for your time for joining this today. We really do appreciate it. We, as part of the partner program overhaul for next year, are looking at the propositions that we want to offer to you. You've heard of some exciting things that we're doing today around the enhancements to the campaign centre, how we will support you to kind of attack this FTTP opportunity across the altnet footprint. But we've heard the feedback loud and clear and want to share some good news that we will be bringing back our annual partner event next year. Woohoo! And so we will be sending out a save the date email shortly. We are currently looking at doing that in April, so not too far away. And really can't wait to see a lot of people there. And, you know, it's planned to be a very insightful day and, of course, some great social interaction as well. And then finally, I think in terms of what we're looking at into how we enhance our partner program going into next year. So in terms of what we offer today, I think there's a real broad amount of quality across that program, but we'd really like to hear feedback from you of what else you'd like to see from Zen. So some of the things that we're thinking about at the moment is we have an awful lot of insight on AI internally. We have launched 3 AI strands this year called Zenny, Benny and Jenny, who are really helping us in terms of our performance as a business. And a lesser known part of our business is that we have several experts in the AWS space. So we have access to a variety of pre-sales consultants within that team that can help you make more out of your AWS instances if you have those today. We can save money on billing, but also importantly, we can help you on your AI journey as well. You can take some of those learnings from us or speak to our AWS team. And this is something that we'd like to look at. How do we build this into the partner program next year? But we are all ears on what else you would like to see coming out of Zen. And that was it from me.
Wonderful.
Just building on the AWS point, we have one of only 15 AWS security subject matter experts in the whole world. So if AWS security is something of interest to you, please get in touch.
Impressive stuff. Very good. Well, that brings us to a close this morning. I hope you found some useful insight within that. We've covered a lot of ground. Thanks to everybody that's taken part, to Mark, to Shannon, to Paul, to Richard. Thanks to you, our partners. Your business is very much appreciated, and keep in touch. Let's keep talking. Let's do some business together, and let's maximise the opportunities that we've discussed this morning. So with that, thank you, and until next time, goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.